Hello, and welcome to As Built, the podcast from Graphic Machine about architecture firms, buildings, and how both get built. I am your host, Brian Jones. With me is your co-host, Patience Jones.
Hello.
Today's episode is the next in our series about the Nelson-Atkins Museum of Art International Design Competition. Our guests today are Elisabetta, Trezzani, and Kerry Joyce from the firm Renzo Piano Building Workshop. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So tell us a little about your firm.
Okay. The Building Workshop was established by Renzo Piano in 1981 with offices in Genova and in Italy and Paris in France. We are a group of 11 partners and around 30 associates, and we've included also a founder partner that has been Renzo Piano. We are a group of around 125 people, half in Genova and half in Paris. And our team have extensive experience working in multidisciplinary projects and around the world. So we are based in France, but also around all the world where we have a project. We always have people based there and following the construction. Our interest is mainly in cultural projects because it's where we think we can give the maximum of our experience and knowledge.
What type of work is your firm known for?
It's mainly what I said, it's educational, but in sense of place for people. For us, we really believe that architecture need to be at the service of communities. So we like a lot working on projects that create a great connection with the city where they are built and also with the people. Our main effort is done to create the places where people like to stay, like to be, like to coming back and be, it became a destination, not like just as a piece of architecture, but it's where people can really enjoy and feel together. So we have done, mainly auditorium. We have an extensive experience in museum, in library, university, the latest here also hospital. So it's all projects that they have a very strong connection with urbanity and sense of city. And we believe always to, for each project, visiting the site, listen people, but also listen the site, what the place can tell you to try to build, the dream of client.
What is one of your favorite projects to have worked on and why?
Each project is a story. Our projects are normally, I'm talking about between 5 and 8 years long. So it's something that you are really connected with people and place and city. But probably if I really need to mention one, I will probably mention the Whitney Museum of American Art because it's something that it's a project very related to the city. It was an area of New York City where it was really left on a side, and between the museum and the experience of the island, you really regenerate all that area. And for my experience was a really good experience with client, with art, with artists, with the community, with the city of New York. So I really felt that each one of the group involved, it was a sense of working together to arrive to the best project as possible, to the dream of the Whitney Group. So that it was really something that, it helped me to become a better architect in a way, and also to create this space that, it will be 10 years soon. but it's still full of energy and full of people that they want to visit it and come back also, because this is an important thing.
Why did your firm decide to enter the Nelson-Atkins competition?
So our firm doesn't enter so many architectural competitions each year. This competition for the Nelson-Atkins Museum, we found the brief and the call for invitations particularly appealing. We felt that the museum's leadership's goals and aspirations were very much aligned with our own. It seemed to call for a smaller scale project that seeks to solve a lot of issues, but with a limited amount of program space. So it's not calling for really a new huge icon or big new monument, more of a surgical intervention. So that was something we found quite appealing. We also saw, that it is very much beloved by the people of Kansas City. So it is already in its current state today a place for people. And the goal of the brief we saw was to enhance that feeling that's already there.
What have been your impressions of Kansas City so far?
So Elisabetta and I have just been to Kansas City one time in December. And I think that we could both say that the thing that left the strongest impression on us, probably due just to the short time we were there, was the people of Kansas City. All the people that we encountered, both from the museum team and also some, locals in the area, they really left, I think, the biggest impression on us. That, and then, we stayed pretty close by the site. We walked from where the new art district stop is on the line, and we walked every day to the site. And just the amount of public art that's displayed along that short path is really quite incredible. So you see the city has quite a devotion to public art, but also maintaining it and exposing it for public view.
And to just add, and the nature also, that especially next to a site, but through the city, it's a very important element for this project and in general for the city.
What have you found to be a highlight of the museum from your visit? That could be a collection, a particular artwork, the architecture, etc.
Well, I think you could probably do a whole podcast episode about the collection and how incredible the collection is at the Nelson-Atkins Museum. But probably for us, the biggest highlight, the most impressive thing about the museum is that it's non-ticketed, that the entry is free for all the people of Kansas City and all the visitors. We were there on a couple of days when the museum was closed, and even the landscape around the museum was full of people. It really feels like it belongs to people, which is a very difficult thing for a museum to accomplish.
What have you found most compelling and challenging about the competition brief?
I think it kind of goes to what we said before about trying to do a lot with a small intervention. We don't have a huge amount of square feet to play with. We're also dealing with things that are already, quite good. The Stephen Hall building is quite good. The landscape is excellent. The Nelson-Atkins building itself is also good. So how to not detract from any of those elements, but to make them all better with a small thing, essentially.
What has inspired your approach to the competition brief?
I think, again, it's, similar to the other responses, but the idea of creating one museum was quite inspiring to us. It's a theme that we've tackled before on other projects, including the Morgan Library in New York and also the Harvard Art Museums, where you have a set of disparate pieces that are an institution, but they don't really act as one museum. So that was really inspiring for us.
What trends do you foresee emerging in museum and or cultural architecture over the next decade?
I think what is interesting, and it was highlighting this program for this museum, but I see even in other museums, is the relation that educational spaces are taking versus gallery space that are more public. There is more and more a need for museum to open up to students, to children, and to create this type of space that are not really divided, but one side you have a gallery and on the other side you have these educational spaces. The possibility and the flexibility that you can create manage the adjacency of these spaces, so you can, be flexible depending of, which type of art you want to show, to little children or young adult or just the public spaces. But this is more and more like to create some flexible space that can be act as galleries, sometimes as educational spaces, with all the related requests about lighting control, acoustic requirements, and comfort level, and try to also express with this project and in general for museum, be more attentive about sustainability. Try to express this in a project. So make the people, the visitor, especially the children, to be aware of this and need to be more sensible and taking this type of approach for themselves and for the project and for the nature that you have around you. So I think these 2 or 3 elements, and I think the program of the Nelson-Atkins really highlight all of 3 of these items. So going back to what Kerry was mentioning, this was for sure one of the things that for us was quite important reading the program and see that the museum is really looking forward what will be the future of this museum. They already have had a great addition with the project of Stephen Hall, and they have tried to. So it's a very nice, approach to what a museum should be. But it's part of process and growing up and follow the new generation requests. So it's really looking ahead. And for institutions like the Nelson-Atkins Museum, it's really a very important element to think about it. And for us as architects, it's really quite interesting.
Well, I really want to thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.